Hello. Today I'm going to go over my Safariland 6300 series holster. This is the level 3 retention. I've got a couple of these for different firearms, and I actually started using retention holsters here recently when I started using the Gunslinger climbing tree stand, as well as some of the thicker places that I've hunted in this past year where I kind of feel like it was possible that my sidearm might get snatched out of my holster. So that's why I started using these, and I got a few of these for different firearms. And one of the problems that I have with it, or had with it, was that driving in my truck, sitting with this on, was not comfortable. And so I'm going to install the QLS system today on this one, and I've got a few of these to, if they work, I've got a few of those to hook on some other holsters. So real quick, I'll just go over this holster. This is the 6360 RDS version, and this one specifically is for the Glock 47. So here's my Glock 47 build that I've been working on, and we'll go ahead and there's nothing in the magazine, nothing in the gun. All right, so what I've got done to this so far is I put the +5 base plates on it from Shield Arms, and then I also put the mag well on there. I've got a X300 Ultra. This is the Type A, so this is a quick release one, and I've got it set up just for the quick release to come on and off the firearm. And then I put the Glock Performance trigger in it, which it's a good thing I didn't do a video on that, because I disconnected the bar from the trigger to the back of the trigger, and it was a lot. I don't know what those parts are called, but it was really time consuming and fiddly for me to get it hooked back together, which a lot of cussing and a lot of me having to go for a walk in between time before I finally got it hooked back together. So good thing I didn't do a video on that. And then I put the Holosun, the SCS on there, which is the same type of red dot with there's no battery in it. There's no rechangeable battery in it. It's rechargeable, solar. I did a video on this same type of red dot that I have on another Glock. I put it on a Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS. And so I got another one on this one because actually this has turned out to be a really reliable red dot. And I haven't been able to kill the battery even if I leave it in the safe for a long time. Like I left the one for the 19, I left that in the safe for almost a month just to see if I could kill it. And it still didn't die, or if it did die, as soon as I picked it up and brought it out, it lit right back up. So anyway, that's this firearm, and I'll show you how it goes in this holster for anyone that hasn't seen it. So it's a level 3 retention, so you would push down on this, on the hood, and push it forward, and it moves the red dot cover forward too. And fits in there just like that and snaps. That's not coming out. And it's not really it doesn't move around that much. And I tightened down, you can tighten down the retention here. I tightened down the retention a little bit so that it wouldn't rattle too much. And then to take it out, so this is how you would carry it. To take it out, you just push this button down and forward, and then swipe your finger back across the SLS system, right? And that releases it and pull the gun out. So that's how easy it comes out, but yet it's really locked in there really well. And this same holster, if we take the X300 off, it will still go in this holster without the X300. It's not coming out. It is a little bit more wiggly or rattly right here, but not enough to matter. That's it rattling, so not much. All right, so now that we've gone through, put the light back on, See the beam from that. That's the momentary on. I might do a comparison between the Ultra, the X300 Ultra from Surefire, and the Streamlight H1 that I'm running on another firearm, and let you see the difference there. But anyway, that's the gun that this holster is for. So go ahead and put that back together. So now, let's see. This is the QLS system, and this comes with whatever's in there, a bunch of screws. So let's see how hard this is to put together. All right, so push this up and out. Instructions. I'm going to use those. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how this works. If I have to look at the instructions and there's a problem, then there's a problem there. So okay, so there's a bunch of different size screws. They all appear to be the same thread pattern. And they're different lengths, so let's see. And then there's some plastic grommets here. All right, so first let's go ahead and take this off. So I know this has to come off because what I'm thinking is this piece here is going to hook to the part that goes onto the belt, and this will be the part that goes onto the back of the actual holster itself and locks in, and it locks in this way. So that's because that's the way I took it out. So we'll leave it laying right there. Let's figure out which. Take a guess. All right, so that is a 1/8. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the holster apart. And I'm going to keep the hardware from the holster separate from the hardware out of the pack. Probably should have gotten the power tool out here to do this. Could have done it quicker. And there was no washer in that one. All right, so that's what it looks like on the back. So let's do this. All right. So that looks like one of these pieces. So we'll put those in there. Those are different sizes too. All right, so it looks like it goes like that. And you can adjust looks like you can adjust the cant a little bit more. So I'm going to go straight up and down with this and as far up as possible because this is already a mid-ride holster. And which size of these screws are we going to use? Kind of want to use the middle size screws just to see which ones actually fit best, so it won't be this one. Let's try this one and see if it sticks. The purpose of this is to make sure that it doesn't stick out the other side, and to where it won't let the firearm lock in because it'll be in the way, right? So let's just see. But I still want to get as much threading as possible. I think that's the right one right there. And that would be the other one of that size. If you want to, you can fast forward through me fiddling with this if you're in a hurry, right? Try to get this one started too. Same thing on the bottom. Loosen this back up. I'll loosen these up enough so that they move. And then I think that's the same size. So we'll do the one on the bottom. And it needs one of those. Needs one of these. So these just lock into these pre-fit spaces or holes, right? And that gives you something to start the screw on the other side into. And you want to use, I guess you want to use the longest screw possible that fits, so you get the most threading to grab a hold of, while not coming out the other end to the point that it would keep this from sliding back in to the holster when you connect the holster back, right? So again, I'm going to push these as far up as possible. Tighten them down real quick. And so that this doesn't drag on too long, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me fiddle with this too much. I'll come back through and adjust it exactly how I want it once I know that it works, right? So see, this almost comes to the end, so it's as much threading as possible without sticking out to where it won't let the holster, the other end of the QLS system, actually clamp on to this piece. All right, so that's that. And this is just going to slide in here. So let's hook this to the firearm. So it's going to go this direction because this is the part that slides in. So it's going to go on this side. And again, there's some ability to adjust the cant here. And I'm going to get it as straight as possible because I don't want it, I want it as straight as possible. Now for this, I'm going to try the screws that came out of that came with the holster to begin with, and just see if they work. They seem to. Once I get them in there, I'm going to look and make sure that they're not sticking out the other side of the holster, right? So, because you wouldn't want them actually protruding into the holster and like not letting the firearm go in there, or scratching it up or whatever, scratching the finish off of it or whatever. Tighten these down. That actually bottoms out right there. Like, I can't, without breaking it, I can't tighten it down any more than that. Same thing with this one. Same thing with that one. So that's as tight as those will go. There. All right. And inside. So it's not sticking out. Let's make sure the gun still fits. Still fits. Hood still goes up. Still releases. Didn't scratch the side of the gun. There's nothing sitting in there. So they even have a soft felt lining in this holster, which I really like. I actually ordered Alien Gear, came out with a level 3 retention holster, and they just did an upgrade to it where it has a better trigger protection right here over the trigger guard, and I actually ordered a couple of those in the mail, or a couple of those. So when those come in, I'll probably do a comparison between this holster and the new Alien Gear Rapid Force, the new version with the better trigger guard, because the old one, you could stick your finger in here, way better than this actually, and get a hold of the trigger. And while I'm not planning on wrestling anybody, I'm not like I said, I'm not a law enforcement officer, so I'm not planning on wrestling with anybody with this, but at the same time, I don't need a stick or anything getting in there and pulling the trigger while I'm walking through the woods, right? So this now, there, locks on. So I should be able to take, in the truck, I should be able to have this on my belt, take the firearm off and stick it in my backpack or something, and then when I get to where I'm going, should be able to put the firearm back onto the holster. So this is more for me, not just for changing firearms on the holster, but more along the lines of, because it just makes it more comfortable to travel and I don't have to take it on and off my belt, etc. So that is this. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video, do this on the holster that I have for the Gen 5 19, and then switch it back and forth and let you see how easy it is to go back and forth. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it now and come right back after that's all done. Okay, so I'm back, and that actually went a lot faster putting this on than it did the one for the 47, obviously, because I knew what I was doing and which screws to use, etc. Right? Same exact holster, but this is for the Gen 5 G19. So I'll show you that firearm. Right, so this is Gen 5 G19 MOS. I have the same red dot on it. This one I'm running a TLR 1 HL. So just like the Surefire, this is 1,000 lumen, but I think it has 13,000 candela or something. I'll do a review and compare these two lights. Also, I've got the turbo, and the Surefire turbo. We can compare those lights, but there's a beam from that light momentary on. And the same holster, while this says it's for the 300, it fits just fine with the Streamlight. Not rattling around. This isn't going anywhere. Now, let's switch them out. So, with the gun securely locked in there, just push up, pull it off, and we'll do the same thing with the 47. And so pretend like you had this already hooked to your belt. There you go, and that's locked in there. And that seems to be in there pretty good. Good enough for what I'm going to do with it, and way better than carrying with the other outside the waistband holsters that I've had, even the ones that snap in. If you're climbing trees, walking through something really thick, it can still get caught potentially, or your gun can just fall out because you're moving around a lot and bending all over the place. So that is why I got level 3 retention holsters, and is basically for hunting and walking in the woods, because couple things. I have had to use a firearm to put down an animal, especially if you're muzzleloader hunting. You only have one shot. I mean, it takes me forever to reload a muzzleloader. I'm super slow. And also, one of the places that I hunt in, we have a couple thousand acres, and it's right up against what I would consider a bear sanctuary. So they bring in black bears that are being relocated because they're not afraid of humans, and they become nuisances, and they drop them off in this area that butts up to our property. And so we have a ton of black bears, and I mean a lot of large black bears that are not afraid of people at all. And sometimes you just have to shoot next to them or something to scare them off, because they'll get super, super close to you, and they're really curious. And we don't hurt them or anything, but I shoot next to them, and they'll be scared off. And that's especially true, again, if I got a muzzleloader, I'm not firing my one muzzleloader round into the dirt next to the bear to chase it off, because if I didn't have a handgun at that point, I've got no firearm at all. So anyway, those are all reasons that I carry a sidearm when I'm hunting, and those are also the reasons that I'm starting to carry a level 3 retention holster. And also just, you know, for the range or whatever, I guess these are really good. You can switch your firearms out, so you don't have to change your belt, for instance, right? And I guess whatever other things that a civilian might want to have a level 3 retention holster for. I don't see anything wrong with civilians having retention holsters, etc. Right? So anyway, and I probably will do a video comparing the 19 to the 47, because they share the same. They actually, you know, the video on the holsters is over, so if you just came for the video on the holsters, thanks for watching. Please give me a subscription to my channel if you like this kind of videos where I show you how to put stuff together. But also, these two guns share the same recoil spring system. So this is actually the frames. If you look at the frames are the same, right? And the difference is the slide. Well, this slide on the 47, while it's a 17 length, and I guess I should have brought out a 17 to show you, but while it's a 17 length, the recoil spring is the 19 double capture recoil spring. And they stop it from going, again, this gun's unloaded, but they stop it from going through with this plug right here. So technically these two firearms also give you a long slide 19, because you can put this 17 length slide on the G19, or it gives you a 19X size firearm, or I think it's called a 45 now, G45, where you have the full size 17 frame grip, right, with the 19 slides. You can switch them out. So technically these two guns are 4 guns, I guess. I don't know. One of the reasons that I got this is I had a G17 that is non-MOS, and I wanted to get an MOS version of the 17 Gen 5, and I couldn't find one, and the guy at the gun store told me they quit making MOS versions of the G17. So technically this is a Gen 5, even though they don't call it Gen 5. This is a Gen 5 MOS, and it's a 17 length, and it also has, I guess, the added, I don't know if it's a benefit, I don't even know if it matters, I haven't done it yet, but switch the slides back and forth, right? And then because I'm really not going to carry this one concealed or anything, I started goofing with the internals. I don't mess with the internals on my carry guns. My carry gun internals are from the factory, because I'm not a gunsmith, and I don't know more than whether it's a SIG or a CZ or what, one of H&K, one of the tons of guns that I have in my rotation. I don't no more than their engineers, so I don't mess with the internal parts on those firearms for actual concealed carry, where I may need it, you know, for more important things than shooing off a bear, right? Or, you know, putting down another animal or something like that. But anyway, I don't mess with those. But with this one, I'm going to do a review on this trigger to see if this is actually better than the standard trigger. In fact, I can go ahead and pull it now. Let's see. So there's the take up. There's the brake. Reset. Brake. One thing I've noticed about this is, see, it goes forward anyway. Like, you can't, even when it's not cocked, you can't tell. It goes forward no matter what. And then we'll do the 19 real quick, and then we'll end this video. So here's the 19. It's empty. So cocked, trigger goes forward. And they've supposedly made improvements on the Gen 5 triggers anyway. There's the wall, take up in the wall. There was some creep that was not in the performance trigger. Did you see that? Watch, we'll do it again. There's the wall. There's some creep right there. And then it breaks. Reset. Creep right there. And then it breaks now. And it stays back after it's been fired. But is that enough to matter? I don't know. I think people put too much... these are duty style guns. This isn't a competition firearm. I think people put a whole lot of emphasis into triggers on these type of guns that don't matter for what they're for. And then a lot of the people that complain about these triggers, you say, well, what do you carry? And they say, oh, I carry a double action, single action CZ, P01 or whatever, the CZ01 or whatever the double action, single action is that everybody carries from CZ, right? And that's got an 8 or 9 pound trigger for the double action pull. So I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, thank you very much for checking out the video. If you like videos like this where I kind of compare things and or put stuff together, please go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any questions or whatever, put them in the comments. Have a good one.